Hello, the types of the wheels. The first type of the wheels that you can see right now is the spoke wheel. Right, the spokes are provided in between the wheel rim and the wheel hub that is being used in case of the motorcycle in the earlier vehicle. The spoke wheels is generally a better option because in that case the load is properly distributed by the help of the spokes which is being attached between the wheel hub and the wheel assembly, so that spokes helps in that way. But there is a big disadvantage with the case of the spoke wheel is that we can never use a tubeless tire with the spoke wheels because there are holes drilled throughout the wheel rim on which that holes cannot sustain the air in case of the tubeless tires. For that we have to use 100% a tubed tire. Otherwise the air will be lost in between the holes which is being given for the spokes arrangement. So this is the biggest advantage of the spoke wheels. Right? The look wise also the spoke wheels was better earlier in the earlier vehicles as well. On the bicycles you might have seen these types of wheels as well. So the spoke wheels was generally used in the earlier vehicles. But nowadays we have better options compared to the spoke wheels, and we want to use the tubeless tire for the better life of the tires, for the ease of operation of the vehicle, for the reducing the ability of the puncture in case of the tires. This is why we generally use a tubeless tire with our wheels, and this type of the wheel does not let us use the tubeless tires. So we generally do not use this type of the wheels in our vehicle. The second type of the wheel is normally known as the pressed steel wheel, or we can also say it as the disc wheel. In this case you can see in between the steel plates are used which has been pressed with each other, and above that the wheel rim is created. Totally the steel material is used for the wheel disc and the wheel rim. This wheel disc is generally provides the function of the spokes as well, and this is the most cheapest type of the wheels that we can use in case of the two-wheelers. Right? We now use a better version of the disc wheel that is being used in place of the steel is the alloys, which we can say as the alloy wheels. Right? But if we are using a lower end vehicle, then the alloy wheel will be costlier for that vehicle. So we will only use this type of wheel, that is a disc wheel with the pressed steel material. But if we want to use a better wheels that gives us the better life, also the weight is the lighter in case of the alloys. So those alloy type of wheels can be used. In most of the motorcycle, you might have seen this type of wheels that is being used, which is a type of an alloy wheels. Right, the alloy wheels is connected with our transmission system, and the power is being given with the center, or we can say from the wheel hub. That power is further transmitted from the wheels to the tires, and for this is how the vehicle runs. In case of the alloy wheels, the design is very much better compared to the disc wheel, and also in case of the alloy wheels, the look wise the wheel will look even better compared to the other wheels as well. The only factor is the cost. The cost will be higher in case of the alloy wheels, but the function, the parameters, the weight, the working, the life, all will be better compared to the other wheels. So this is simply an alloy wheel which is generally you might have seen used in the motorcycles or in any other two-wheelers, which is very widely used in the vehicle if the cost is not a factor here. So let's see about the tires. So in that tires you can see one cross section of the normal tire is being provided, in which you can see the number of components of the tire which is being given to manufacture a tire. You can see only a rubber part from the outer side of the tire, but there are number of components which has been given in the case of the tire and inside the tire components. The first one is the sidewall, which is being given in the side, which is made from the rubber. The topmost part is known as the tread, on which the proper grooves is provided for the better friction and for the road adhesion for the tires. That tread pattern can be different according to different condition of the road surface or the atmosphere. For example, in case of the rainy season, there are different types of the treads which is being used. In the tread, you can see the carcass system is given. The carcass system provides the stability and strength to the tires. You can see the belt system is provided in the tires. On that belt, you can see the normally the steel belts are used in case of the carcass system, and below that the tire casing is given, which gives the proper arrangement to the tire and proper shape to the tire. In the most below part, you can see the bead is provided. The function of the bead is to give the proper fitting of the tire with our wheels, and the shape of the bead is provided such that it will fit in the case of the wheel rim pretty easily. So this is a normal tire. You can see the construction of the normal tire. Let's see the types of the tire that is generally used in the vehicles. Mostly there are two types which you can see, that first one is the tubeless tire and second one is the tube tire. In the case of the tube tire, one tube is provided on which the tire is manufactured. So between the wheel rim and the tire, the tube will be used. So air will be filled in that tube, and because of the inflation of the tube, the tire will be inflated. Whereas in case of the tubeless tire, the air is filled directly into the tire, and this is how the tire is inflated. Now in case of the tubed tire, whenever there is a puncture in the tube, the air will be leaked at that instant from the tubed tire, and because of that we will require an immediate assistant to remove that puncture from our tires. But in case of the tubeless tire, when there is a puncture or when there is a small nail that is being punctured in the case of the tubeless tire, until that nail is being removed from the tubeless tire, 100% air will not be removed at the same instant in the case of tubeless tire. We have some time for the repairing of the puncture in case of the tubeless tire. Also, the life of the tubeless tire is very much higher than the tubed tire. Also, the road adhesion of the tubeless tire is better compared to the tubed tire. And the main advantage is for the driver is that doing the puncture in the case of the tubeless tire is lesser compared to the tubed tire. There is also a type of the tire compared to the carcass system that we saw in the tire. The carcass system can be of the two different types. The first one is the crossply construction, and the second one is the radial construction. Right, the crossply construction and radial construction, there are two tires, crossply tire, radial tire. You might have heard the word radial tires, which are used for the four-wheelers or the two-wheelers, but the crossply tires are also used in normal vehicles as well. If you see the road contact and the tire, if you see the shape of the tire when it is connected with the road, if it is pretty much circular, then they are crossply tires. But if it is completely flat with the road surface, then they are mostly radial tires. The difference is only the arrangement of the carcass system below the tread pattern in the tires. You can see in the crossply tires, the belts of the steel are connected as a breaker. It is connected as a cross match. It is connected as a cross hatch pattern, and the breakers are connected for the carcass system. But in case of the radial construction, you can see that they are connected in the belt manner. The steel belts are placed on our carcass system. Because of that, the stability of the tire is increased, the strength of the tire is also increased, and these steel belts will give us a better road adhesion or contact between the tire and the road. The area of the contact will be better. The patch that will be generated when the tire and road is in contact will be larger compared to the Crossply tires. Mostly the radial tire has better advantages compared to the Crossply tires. So this is why we generally use normally the radial tires in case of the two-wheelers nowadays as well. So in this video we saw about the different types of wheels and different types of the tires. From the next video we will start a new chapter. Until then, thank you so much.